For years, George Clooney's life looked perfect from the outside. Red carpets, luxury homes, private jets, global causes, and a family that seemed to complete the picture. He was the man who had it all. But as Clooney finally admitted, the polished image was masking a very different reality. He revealed that while cameras captured smiles and affectionate glances, he and his partner were slipping further and further apart. It did not happen in one dramatic explosion. Instead, he described it as a slow fade, where little misunderstandings turned into distance, and distance slowly turned into silence. He admitted that behind some of those famous red carpet photos were nights of tension, conversations cut short, and a growing sense that they were living parallel lives rather than a shared one. Clooney confessed that he felt trapped between the version of himself the world expected to see and the exhausted, overwhelmed man he was becoming in private. He felt like he was living two lives at once, and neither of them felt fully real anymore. In his emotional confession, Clooney spoke openly about the pressure of constantly being on. Every gesture, every expression, every trip, and every interaction was watched, analyzed, and dissected. He admitted that there were days when he wanted to disappear, to be invisible, to be just a man at home in sweatpants with no script to follow. But instead of stepping back early enough, he kept pushing forward. More projects, more causes, more obligations. He said he believed he was doing the right thing, using his platform, staying productive, being a provider. What he didn't realize was that, emotionally, he was running on empty. That exhaustion slowly seeped into his marriage. Clooney admitted that he would come home physically present but mentally and emotionally elsewhere. He would nod, smile, and go through the motions, but inside he was numb and disconnected. Over time, this emotional distance became almost normal between them. That, he says now, was one of the most dangerous parts. You start accepting emptiness as the new normal. One of the most heartbreaking parts of Clooney's revelation is not about the arguments they had, but about the conversations they never had. He admitted that there were so many moments when he felt something was wrong, but he chose to stay quiet rather than open up and risk conflict. He remembered nights when he could see sadness on her face but didn't ask why. Mornings when she was quiet and distant, and instead of reaching out, he grabbed his phone or turned back to work. I thought I was avoiding drama, he said, but what I was really doing was avoiding intimacy. Over time, the walls between them became higher and thicker. Not because there was no love, but because there were too many unspoken words. Clooney said that by the time they finally started having the real, honest conversations, they were already emotionally exhausted. It was like trying to rebuild a bridge that had been left to crumble for years. Clooney described one night that changed everything. There was no shouting, no broken glass, no dramatic walkout. It was, in many ways, even more devastating than that. He recalled sitting across from his partner at the table, both of them quiet, both of them knowing something was deeply wrong. It was a simple question, but it sliced right through him. He admitted that, for the first time, he couldn't answer. Not with a lie, and not with the easy charm he always relied on. He sat there in silence because the truth was painful. He wasn't happy, and he knew in that moment that she wasn't either. That conversation became the turning point. They finally said out loud what had been hanging in the air for months. That they were hurting, that they were drifting, and that neither of them fully knew how to fix it anymore. That night wasn't the official end. But Clooney said it was the moment they both knew their marriage had changed forever. After the decision to divorce was made, Clooney said the days that followed were some of the hardest of his life. Not because of the headlines, but because of the quiet moments. Walking into a home that felt too big. Seeing reminders of routines that no longer existed. He admitted that he replayed scenes in his head over and over. The times he could have chosen to listen instead of rushing out the door. The times he could have canceled a meeting and stayed home. The vacations he kept postponing. You don't realize how precious ordinary moments are until they become memories, he said. If you watched all the way to this point, thank you for staying with this emotional and deeply personal journey. George Clooney's story reminds us that behind every headline is a real human being trying to navigate love, pressure, and pain. If you enjoy deep, thoughtful breakdowns like this and want more long-form celebrity stories that go beyond the surface, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next video, because we have more emotional, shocking, and inspiring stories coming your way. And don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below.